Peace, everyone. How y'all doing? Peaceful Sabbath day. As y'all like to say, Shabbat Shalom. Sabbath day, peace. However you like it, however you want it, you can get it that way. But I have my brother here. We both kind of offend each other with our viewpoints because we got different viewpoints, a different understanding of things that we understand. So the best way to do it is let iron sharpen iron or iron sharpen iron. So this is a iron sharpen iron section. And he's going to speak about what we're going to be sharpening each other about. You got the flow, bro.
All right. Well, basically, I see over and over Israelites speaking on, I guess, the sojourners and all those that are added in as if the ministry that's in the Brit Hadashah or the New Testament is speaking directly to other nations, when in actuality, I see it as is actually a continuation of what Yahusha himself said, that he is only sent for the lost sheep of Israel. Not saying that other nations are not included, because that was already given provision back in the Old Testament, or what we call the Tanakh, where they said that the sojourners basically would come in and cleave to Israel and were treated as Israel, though not Israel. So that was already taken care of in Leviticus, like 1933 all the way to the end on that. So that's what I kind of want to address and speak on. So you want me to get started or just go?
Yeah, you started because it's your premise that we're going to be dealing with.
Okay.
You say Romans was written to who or what?
Well, the book of Romans was written to believers in Rome. See, I'm gonna just give some backstory. Shual, they said, was a man that was born in the city of Tarsus. So he was a Roman citizen, but yet he was a Benjamite, and he was the son of a Pharisee. So Tarsus being a Greek city or a Roman city, a Roman territory, if he was born and raised there and his father a Pharisee, that meant the likelihood that he was trained there by his father. So that means that there were believers in that region. So there were brethren in that region. There were people that were of the Yahudim or Israelite nation that lived in that region, and thus there was a synagogue. So when you go to the Acts, let's go to Acts. I'm going to read some of the Acts, and it shows him coming, or I guess being taken to Rome.
Is this a KJV?
We can go to KJV. I actually like reading from the TS 2009, but we can go KJV. That'll work, because it's still gonna give me the same thing. But I like the TS 2009. So if you got it, you want to put it on the screen.
Acts what chapter?
The very last one. So I do believe that to be 28. I do believe, and see, that's one of my big hangups too. There were no such thing as chapter and verse when you go back then. That's something that we had added to us. They didn't have no chapter. They didn't have no verse.
What happened with what's here today, because what's here today is what we got to work with. If we was back then, we would have to work with that. But how we gonna throw everything that we have today away?
No, but see, I don't want to throw it away, but you have to understand for context. So if you didn't have chapter and verse, that means a lot of the stuff was written straight out. So those chapter breaks that we used to, where we say, "Oh, that's a pause," that a lot of times it wasn't there. A lot of our own literary rules we don't follow. Like a lot of chapters in the Bible start with "and." You don't start a sentence or a new statement with a conjunction, because that and usually means that something happened prior.
Like verse 8, right? So what we know is chapters and verse, book, chapter, and verse is to give us the locale of where we at, so we can all be on one page, on one text, one chapter, one verse, one book, and everything. Which God is all about oneness, no confusion. And that's what it's there for. Simply that anybody that thinks anything different is because they have a lack of knowledge, and we perish for that.
Well, a lot of people have used those breaks to, I guess, set up a conclusion as well as to set up a context. And a lot of times they lose the context by starting at the end. Because as you see that there right there, you're starting with an and. So you would have to go before that to find out what is that and concluding. You see what I'm saying?
Great teaching, but what are we here for? So we could be on
one
corner, chapter, verse, and
I'm setting parameters right here and letting you know that is obvious concluding something else. And that's one of the things I'm speaking on. And so we can go
with you 100%. I ain't
okay. So then run back to 27 then.
Chapter 27.
Mm-hmm. And boy, so
this court stuff work good, don't it? Chapter 27.
So I'm gonna start right at 31. Paul said to the centurion and to the soldiers, except these abide in the ship, you cannot be saved. Then the soldiers cut off the ropes of the boat and let it fall down. So, I don't even really go to the whole story, but you see he dealing with a centurion. So right there, if he wanted to minister to somebody of Rome, he had somebody right there to minister to. Skipping down further. Go down to 2742. And the soldiers' counsel was to kill the prisoners. This is when they were going to kill them. They were thinking about killing them. But the centurion, willing to save Paul, kept them from the purpose and commanded that they which could swim should cast themselves first into the sea and get to the land and the rest. So Paul was in bondage heading to Rome. He had been around Romans, real Romans that were not his brethren. The centurion, all these other folks. He's heading to his home place, to where brethrens are. He could have been ministering to people if it was Gentiles that his ministry was about. He could have been ministering to people on that boat, as well as to these people that was in guard over him. He didn't have to leave Yahuda to go there. Now go over to 28. And when they escaped, they knew that the island was called Melita, and the barbarous people shewed us not little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received us every one because of the present rain and because of the cold. And when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat and fastened on his hand.
What are you exactly? 28 what? 28 and what verse?
Oh, that was on 3 right there. And so I'm gonna skip past this. This is when he was dealing with a snake biting him, and then when the snake bit him or whatever, they looked at him as some deity or somewhere. So he's still dealing with the paganism of these people. But that's ignoring all that. We're gonna move down to where I really want to get. Let me see. Hold on one second here. I'm gonna tell you where I really want to get. I really want to go down to verse 11. And this is where I'm really going to start. It starts with an and too, but we're going to disregard that. And after 3 months, we departed in a ship of Alexandria, which had wintered in the isle, whose sign was Castor and Pollux. And landing at Syracuse, we tarried there. Hold on.
I'm still with you.
I'm still here. My phone doing a little thing. We tarried there 3 days, and from thence we fetched a compass and came to Rhegium. And after 1 day, the south wind blew, and we came the next day to Puteoli, where we found brethren. Okay, he was already with Romans. He was already with other captives, but he found brethren. What does he mean by brethren here, brother?
People that's in the faith.
And people in the faith.
Because you said he could have ministered to these people, but if they weren't in the faith, how was he really going to minister to them?
Yeah, I'm saying, but he can minister to them, trying to convert them or bring them in. But now he found people or brethren, people who are in the faith, and were desired to tarry with them 7 days, and so went toward Rome. And from thence, when the brethren heard of us, they came to meet us, and fires Appi Forum, and 3 taverns, whom when Paul saw, he thanked Yah and took courage. These is brethren. And when he came to Rome, the centurion delivered the prisoners to the captain of the guard, but Paul was suffered to dwell by himself with a soldier that kept him. Someone else that was a Roman that he could have ministered to, but that ain't his focus. And it came to pass that after 3 days, Paul called the chief of the Jews, or Yahudim, together. He's seeking his brethren again. And when they come together, he said unto them, men and brethren, though I have committed nothing against the people, he talking about Israel here, or customs of our fathers, he talking about Israel again, yet was I delivered prisoner from Jerusalem into the hands of the Romans. He's saying, I didn't do nothing against the custom of our people. These are not, he's not talking to just Gentiles or people that were Gentiles and believers. He's talking about Israelites or people in the faith that are connected to the Yahudim right here, who when they had examined me would have let me go, because there was no cause of death in me. But when the Yahudim or the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar, not that I had aught to accuse my nation of. My nation of. What nation is that? Israel. For this cause, therefore, I called for you. He called for who? You, these Yahudim that were in Rome, to see and to speak with you, because that for the hope of Israel, I am bound with chains. He is bound. Why? For the hope of Israel. And they said unto him, we neither receive letters out of Judea concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came shewed or spake any harm of thee. So the letters would have been written to this Sabbath-keeping group of Yahudim here that are in Rome from the ones in Judea or Yahudi. That's what he was looking for, them to have letters from them, some type of information that one synagogue would speak with another synagogue. These were believing Israelites or Judeans or kingdom people, and not just Gentiles. They were connected to Yahuwah.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Let's see what your principle is so far. You in the books of Acts saying Paul was only dealing with his nation and he wasn't ministering to nobody in Acts, in the books of Acts, and these acts that's taking place.
His focus was the same as Yahusha when Yahusha talked in Matthew 15:23 when he told that woman, I only came for the lost sheep of Israel. He was doing that. He was only coming for the lost sheep of Israel.
I preached it myself. But when you preach this, you got to reference it with what you did reference with. Is salvation only for Israel or Israel first? Because it goes to Israel first and then it goes to the rest of the nations.
It goes to the Yahudim first, then to Israel. Then to Israel, and then
goes to Israel.
It goes to the Yahudim first because Israel was lost, and then it goes to the lost, and then the added on or the sojourners could be added after that, but that was not the focus. Just like Yahusha told that woman that came to him about her daughter, the dogs, the master's food or bread is not for the dogs. And she said,
Okay.
well, she said, even the dogs get the crumbs. And
I
then he said,
understand all this, but let's reason with each other. See,
okay,
that's why I said we need to talk, because we on a post and I'm trying to reason with you and you go there, then the conversation is about to get diluted and crazy.
okay.
So what you showing is Paul going to Israel first and dealing with the Yaduhim, the Jews, the kingdom tribe that was recognized, them and the Levites as Jews. You showing this. I agree 100%. But we have to go to the place where the problem is. The problem is the book of Rome, and what's it written to the Yaduhim, them Jews, or what's it written to the Gentiles, and what's them Gentile Jews and all. I had this conversation plenty of years before you even thought to touch it, but go ahead.
I'm saying when you keep on reading on this, it still keeps showing over and over that's who he's speaking to. You know, let me finish it up, and I'm gonna go down to 31.
Okay.
And they said unto him, we neither received letters out of Judea concerning thee, neither any of the brethren that came shewed or spake any harm of thee. But we desire to hear of thee what thou thinkest. For as concerning this sect, we know that everywhere it is spoken against. And when they had appointed him a day, there came many to him into his lodging, to whom he expounded and testified the kingdom of Yah, persuading them concerning Yahusha, both out of the law of Moses and out of the prophets, from morning till evening. And some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. And when they agreed not among themselves, they departed after that Paul had spoken one word. Well spake the Holy Ghost by Isaiah the prophet unto our fathers, saying, go unto this people and say. So he going to his people and say, hearing you shall hear and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see and not perceive. So basically, this is the same thing. Right now, I'm trying to share something with people when it comes to this, that Israel is the focus over and over, but yet people ain't hearing me. They ain't seeing me. But anyway, for the heart of this people is wax gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their, oh my goodness, I hate how these phones do, are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and should be converted, and I should heal them. Be it known, therefore, unto you that the salvation of Yah is sent, it says, unto Gentiles. But let's go over into the TS.
What verse was that?
28.
28. Oh, but be it known, therefore, unto you that the salvation of God is sent unto the Gentiles, and
that they will hear.
So now, at this point, it sounds like he said, Israel, to hell with you. I'm about to go to these Gentiles.
But that's never the initiative of the Most High. So I want to
hold up. What you mean when you say that? You have to define these words, because you're a big word kicker, but we need them defined.
The Most High has never put any word out that come back void. So his promise has always been to Israel, not to any other nation. Other nations can come in and get a benefit, just like that woman did that basically mentioned, about her daughter. Her faith got her in, but she still cannot take away from Israel or put Israel down. And that is what most Christianity and all these other things have tried to do. They've tried to replace Israel when that is never the case of what Yah wants done and what he is allowing. And so that's not what's being done, and that's not what's being said. And so right here, when you go to the when you go to the TS 2009, that Gentiles goes back to what the Old Testament says Gentiles mean, and or what the New Testament kind of says is nations. It's not Gentiles, as far as just anybody, the nations. And when you break that down, you have to look at the aspect of that Israel was sent out to all nations. They were spread through all nations.
Are
So
we gonna sharpen each other, or you just want to sharpen me? Because when I throw my hand up, that mean I want to speak. And when you
I'm reading down on the screen and reading, so I didn't see your hand go up. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Good. And when you're not speaking, but you want to speak, close your mic, open it up. I look at your mic. When I see it open, I know you want to speak, and when it's closed, I know. It's just order, brother.
Well, I never was done. I was never done talking because I was still reading. So
okay, but this is back and forth, right? Or are you just going? Because if you just want to kick it, I shut the H up and let you kick it, and then I take my. Do you want to do it like a debate? Though this is a sharpening session. Do you want to say, "Well, give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna present 5 minutes worth of information, then I give it over to you, and we go back and forth like that." Because the back and forth is what's needed.
Well, when a person is reading, I think they should.
Brother, just make a decision. You want to do 10 minutes, 15 minutes? You can have an hour. You can have the whole show, and I'll come do the show tomorrow. I don't want to argue and fight. Make a decision.
It's not an argument. I'm trying to finish reading something. If I'm looking down at a screen,
brother, I'm asking you a question right now. What do you want to do, and how do you want to do it?
I've already told you what I want. We've already discussed this beforehand. I told you I don't want to debate.
Put it on record. Put it on record in front of the people, because the people need to know.
I want to finish reading. I want to finish.
Okay, go ahead, read. Go ahead, read.
And then pass it on.
Okay, go ahead, read. I'm a dictator then. You get 5 minutes. And if you look up at the top left, it's 21. It's going to be 22. Go ahead.
It's your house. You take over. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got it. 22.
No, you got it.
Okay. So I just want to make a quick statement. But see, we got to agree to how we going to do this. We can disagree on the argument or the sharpening or whatever, but we have to agree how we going to do it so it can have order. So just let me put this out there so we can get things in order. Because to a degree, it seems like you don't know these things. So let me show you these things so you'll understand these things. So when you go amongst brethren again, you'll do things properly.
Well, honestly, I feel like you kind of pulling a left turn. If you're gonna do things properly, remember we were talking for a whole hour before.
Well, okay,
now.
Let's set it.
You would have put those things in motion beforehand. Proper etiquette is when you do what you say you're gonna do ahead of time before you go live. And
okay, so we can do that. Let's do that now. Let's do that now.
No, you don't.
All we got to do is set up order now.
You don't do it live. You do it ahead of time when you brothers. That's how you're supposed to do. But right now you pulling some shifty stuff. That's
what shifty stuff? Because I'm asking you to put it in order. That's shifty. You want it out of order so you can do shifty
we spoke on how it was going to be beforehand, and now you're trying to change the narrative.
Well, I cut this off, and this shit don't even have to exist, and we can talk about what we're gonna do and get it in order, and then come back and do it.
Hey, I'm for whatever you want to do.
Hey, peace, y'all. We will be right back once we get what we gonna do in order. Once we get it in order, then we'll come back in order, and the court will. And I'm gonna cut this off. Let me go to YouTube and cut it off now. See, I don't have no problem, brother. You say it's done.
Hey, you do have a problem because you going outside of what you agreed upon.
I said I'm gonna let you start. Do that mean I'm gonna give you 30 minutes? Like I want to sit here and listen to you talk 30 minutes. Everybody knows me, know that I like back and forth. That's why if we talking on Facebook and I'm typing to you and you typing to me, it's a back and forth. But if my tape,
if the reading takes a while, you could have did the reading for me. I had to read.
Bro, we finna cut this off. Go back.
Go ahead, why are you still talking and not cutting it off then?